Hey everybody, and Happy New Year! It is 2024, and this is the first time in my YouTube career, I think, that I have had a New Year's Day video. And I am just so excited about this wonderful new year that is ahead of us. And I want to bring as much of that positive energy and hope and optimism as I can to your day. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about something really special that I have just been dying to share with you for the last 6 to 12 months. And I think this is gonna be super, super nice. So get yourself comfortable and let's have a delightful chat, and I'll tell you all about what I've been up to behind the scenes this last year, and I wanna share with you my big dream for 2024. So let me start by saying that I know I didn't create a lot of content on YouTube in 2023. And the primary reason for that has just been, honestly, I have been doing an absolutely crazy amount of learning and studying my creative crafts behind the scenes. And combining that along with having my full-time job and really trying to work on some very large film projects, it just ended up being so difficult to actually publish stuff. And I was also dealing with some pretty big challenges and I would say questions around my creative identity, especially that here on YouTube. And so I'm gonna talk about all of that today. But yeah, I have just been taking like mountains upon mountains of courses ranging from, writing, visual storytelling, cinematography, editing, various forms of design. And those are all things I've been doing for a long time, things that I love. But 6 months ago, I also finally started something that is very special and dear to my heart that I have wanted to do for about a decade. I'm becoming an animator! Sorry, I knew that was gonna sound so stupid, however I say it, because I just can't control my excitement. I'm becoming an animator and motion designer, and that I just feel like is such a wonderful addition and almost like the final piece to my broader visual storytelling skill set. And I love it. I am so in love with animation and motion design, and it has just been bringing me so much joy and happiness every single day. Right now, I still kind of suck, I'm still really early on in my journey, and I've just been exploring all these different facets of animation and motion design, but it's just so much fun. And, I'm just like completely overflowing with these like creative sparks just flying around my soul every day as I'm like just consuming so much amazing work from wonderful people in the industry, along with doing all these courses and learning and just dreaming, doing so much daydreaming and having all these visions of the kinds of work that I'm dying to be able to create and share with all of you. And so that has been something really special to me that I've honestly been dying to share with you because it brings me so much happiness, and I feel like I could be sharing that with all of you. But it's been really hard to figure out if that's okay and how to do that, because obviously, historically, this has been kind of a language learning channel. I've always tried to go outside of that. I've tried to explore topics like minimalism for language learners, the paradox of choice for language learners. I've tried to do storytelling and things like that, but it's always been centered around language learning. And that's that second piece that I mentioned where I just had a lot of big question marks around my creative identity that I was working through last year. And so I want to talk about all of that today and really give you some clarity on what to expect on this channel coming up. But this is really meant to be a heart-to-heart chat. I want to involve you in this. So let's go a little deeper and let's talk. Okay, so when I got into filmmaking back in 2011, my big dream was to become what I now think of as sort of a visual storytelling craftsman. I'm gonna make a film about this very story this year, and it's gonna use all these new skills. That's my goal. It's one of my big dreams for 2024. So I'll go into more detail at that time. But as many of you might know, I was dealing with a really difficult situation in that year. I was confronted with the even small possibility of dying. It was just a heartbreaking, very, I don't know, cold, dark moment in my life. And that is when I discovered Vimeo, which was at that time a relatively small platform where, you know, amateur and professional filmmakers and animators and motion designers were just sharing the most amazing work. And I found so much work that just moved me in the most positive way. And it really just filled me with hope and warmth and inspiration and motivation in such a dark time in my life. And I just remember being so inspired that I wanted to one day learn to make stuff like that too, right? I wanted to make stuff that was just so beautiful and positive and that would move other people emotionally in that positive way, just as all that other work had done for me. I have to say, I never thought I would become an animator because I just didn't think I was artistic enough or even technical enough back at that time. But I had been making videos since I was a kid. And so that is when I really became truly enamored with animation, but in particular, filmmaking. And for a while, I was really working towards that dream. When I published my first short documentary on this channel back in 2014, that was really special to me because it was my first time not only working on a project of such a magnitude, you know, something that was just so much bigger than what a single person would normally be doing, especially with my limited skill set and experience, but it was also my first experience seeing how engaging deeply and vulnerably with the creative storytelling process could actually help me have a more positive outlook on difficult events in my own life, while also providing warmth and inspiration to others. That film was no masterpiece by any stretch, but I was really doing it. I was working on that dream. But after that, life just got so crazy as I was moving around different countries, doing odd jobs, struggling to survive. I didn't even have a dedicated camera anymore. This was back in the days of like the iPhone 5, I think. And so my channel just became about sharing my love for foreign languages. And my focus was just capturing whatever I could to share as much information and knowledge and positive energy to help and encourage others to learn languages as well. And I just became so passionate about that. I will never forget those early years when, quite frankly, I was really struggling to sort of find my place in this world. But this YouTube channel was my North Star because I would get these warm, beautiful, encouraging comments from a small group of those early subscribers who would just tell me each day how much my videos were helping them. And I was just like, I have to keep doing this. And over the years, I have exchanged like thousands and thousands of comments with so many of you. Many of you have left hundreds of comments. We went through so much stuff together. Many of you actually pulled me out of being homeless again in 2018 after I published my book. This has literally been the most fulfilling thing I have done in my career so far. And as cheesy as it sounds, you all are the secret ingredient to what has made that worthwhile. And that's what I love about sharing your creativity and positivity with the world. There's this sort of ignition that takes place when something that you created with your heart reaches someone else's heart, right? And moves them in any kind of way and makes a difference in their day or maybe even their life. It's like this chemical reaction that just gives back so much more energy than you put into it. Even if that may be weeks, months, or even years, whatever comes back, it's always so much more. And that is what has given me this just like limitless energy to just do more. It has impacted my life in the biggest ways. I can't even like put this into words. It's gonna sound silly, but I'm just really grateful. However, there's always been a problem, and it's been getting bigger over the years. You see, over the years, I always still continued dreaming about one day coming back to being more of a filmmaker, more of a storyteller. I wanted to talk about other topics, which I did start doing, as I mentioned, and I started kind of creating documentary style content again back in 2021. But I always just felt this enormous pressure because my channel had become so specialized in language learning, and I felt like I had to make everything about that. And I think that's where cracks really started to form, and it started to become difficult to actually create because it seemed like the things my heart wanted to make weren't fully aligned with the channel I had created, and I didn't know how to bridge that gap. And that brings me to my big dream for 2024. So first and foremost, I want to come back to publishing consistently on YouTube. But I want to make some pretty big changes on my channel, and I actually would like to ask for your permission. Now, I know a lot of people, in fact, some of my friends have said to me, you don't owe people anything. You don't need to ask for permission to follow your heart, to follow your dreams. But many of you have invested hundreds and hundreds of hours into watching and supporting my content over the last decade. Many of you have left literally hundreds of comments over the years. We have shared very deep and meaningful moments in those interactions. Many of you have bought my book, supported my Patreon, you've used Journaly, and sent me some of the most lovely, warm messages. And so I feel like I actually do owe you this video, because without you, there is no ignition that I described in a lot of words earlier. And so even if I don't need your permission, it would really mean the world to me to sort of bring you into this conversation and to get your support, because I don't want to do this without you. I don't want to just like completely change everything and forget about the people who helped me get to this place in life. So what's the dream? Well, I do still want to talk about language learning. It's still something that I love. It's a huge part of my life, but I'd also really love to start making documentary content and start telling wonderful, beautiful stories, some of which may be related to languages and speakers of different languages, but some of them might not, right? I've been dying to find creative community, right? I've been dying to find a sense of belonging, to find collaboration with other creatives, filmmakers, designers, artists, people who run shops and people who make things, maybe authors. Like, my point is, there's so many wonderful people out there who I think my heart aligns with really well. And I'm dying to not only create things with and for them, but I want to use my skills to actually help some of those people. An example of that is I actually just got my very first animation client, I guess you could say, where I reached out to one of my favorite coffee shops that I really love here in the Bay Area, and I offered to create them an animated version of their logo and maybe create some animated social media assets that they could use. And that's something I offered to do completely for free, and I would love to do more of that. Recently, I've been taking my camera to some of my favorite coffee shops and cafes and stores, and I've been trying to take professional photographs that I can post on Google Maps so they have some really high quality reviews. And again, that's something I want to do for free. And so I would love to expand those activities into creating, short documentary pieces, profiling a certain creator or person or store or restaurant. I don't know what it would be exactly, but my point is I have this deep desire to collaborate with other amazing creators, but also to use the skills I do have to help those people as well. And so I want to also create like animated shorts and maybe even blend those things with documentary style content that, includes animation. And so I guess it's like I kind of want to finally get back to that original dream of being a visual storytelling craftsman, someone who can wield all of these different skills that can kind of be brought together to tell a wonderful story. Even if I may not be like the most specialized, amazing person on a given one of those skills, for me, the joy comes from being able to pull all the pieces together to tell a great story and hopefully make things that move people. And there's one last thing I want to ask your permission about. I'd really like to share my animation journey with you. I know this is like so different than anything I have previously talked about on my channel, but it's really bringing me so much joy and happiness. And I just feel like that's something I could be sharing with you. I'm so early in this journey, right? Like this year, there are gonna be so many firsts, so many breakthroughs, so many wonderful little moments. There's gonna be times when the thing I made is just a 5-second piece, but it's using all these new skills, and maybe I'd love to be able to share that with you without needing to create like some finished short film or even a 30-second piece. I just feel like that would be so fun, but I also never want to forget those of you who are primarily interested in languages and who got me here. But I really kind of want to get involved with the wonderful creators and educators in the animation and motion design space. I also have a feeling that there might actually be a ton of you out there who might find yourselves being inspired to jump into these things as well. Like, you'd be amazed how appealing and fun it is, and how you really don't need to be that artistic to get started with animation and motion design. So, in conclusion, I promise you're gonna see a lot of language learning content in 2024. I actually already have a ton of really exciting things planned, but if it's okay with you, like I said, I'd really love to find some way I can share my animation journey, all my little moments of triumph and little celebrations with you. You might also see a few course reviews on this channel because, you know, some of my favorite animators and motion designers and educators in that space have these amazing courses that I have gotten so much value from. And I noticed that there are basically no reviews on YouTube. And so I would just love to help out and start getting involved with those people by, at the very least, creating some really high quality reviews so that people who are interested in learning this stuff can actually get all the information they need before they make that decision to purchase. And if I can share with you, I do also have this little secret dream of starting a bit of a podcast and maybe even getting the chance to interview some of my favorite animators and motion designers. I think that'd be so cool. I would love to do that and be able to, I don't know, be able to ask them questions from the perspective of someone new to the industry, but a lifelong creative professional. I think that'd be super cool. I'm not sure if they'll write back to me, but that'd be so cool. So anyway, you're gonna start seeing a bunch of videos. A lot of them will be language learning, but hopefully throughout the year, you will actually start to see, you know, more and more animation popping into my videos, and you'll start to see a lot more, you know, high-level cinematography sort of finding its way into my content as well. And I hope that by the end of 2024, my channel can just become a place where you always know it's so worth clicking on one of my videos because you just know you're gonna come away feeling positive. All right, I hope this wasn't too long or too boring. I wish all of you a wonderful 2024, and I really would love to hear from you in the comments. Please let me know. First of all, how are you doing? I remember probably thousands of your names at this point. There's just so many of you that I've engaged with over the years, and I would love to know how you're doing. What are your plans and goals for 2024? And I really would also love to hear from you. Are you okay with this? How does this whole thing sound? And is there anything in particular you'd actually like to see? Are you interested in seeing my sort of artistic, creative journey through animation? Just let me know, because I would love to find the ways that I can capture it in a way that will be fun for you too. All right, sending you all big hugs. You will never know how much I have missed all of you these last couple of years while I've been trying to figure this out. It's been kind of sad. And so I'm happy to be back, and I want you all to come along with me, and I want to have a great year with all of you. So take care, big hugs, love you all, and happy 2024.
I've had some good days, and I've had some worse, but none compared